What's up, vinyl community? Craig here to shoot a really quick recent vinyl finds and some VCLT that just came in today. So, hope everybody is doing well. Start off VC cheer, since that's a new thing, right, Brandon? I didn't even know. No, I take that back. LJ did it. Whatever. I'll jump on the bandwagon. So, what's on in the background? Live Cream, Volume 1, Polydor release from 1970. Did not know that. Great live album. I highly recommend it to anybody who loves good late 60s live music. I know I do. So, first up, VCLT. Now this, most times I know when I've got some stuff coming, or I'll get something and it'll be a nice surprise in there or something like that. I mean, you guys have seen all my VCLT videos. This one, completely unexpected. I didn't even know I had anything coming. Just totally blew my mind. I'm outside. Anybody who lives in the Midwest, we just got blasted with some cold weather. Right here, we really didn't get a lot of snow, just more slush, fuckload of wind. I mean, it was just brutal. I know west of us got a lot more, and especially by like the lakes and stuff like that, because I'm up in like northern Indiana. I know they got a lot more of the snow and shit like that. Even like 20-30 minutes away from here got blasted and got really bad ice and snow and shit like that. So it's really weird that like right here it was just the wind and that was it. So either way, I'm outside cleaning off the cars and mailman brings a package along, and I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck did I get? So I bring it right in, and it's from my boy, NB drummer, Eli. Great guy. I mean, we've really hit it off, over the last few months. Just chatting back and forth. We really bonded over the fact that we're both drummers and we're both big metal heads, and he's got a killer collection. The guy's got insane taste. Really personable, just a great guy to have here in the vinyl community and a great friend as far as I'm concerned. So, I opened up the package and there was a note inside, I don't remember exactly, something about, Merry Christmas and, hope he knew I'd enjoy these. Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. And these were gift wrapped. There was 2 of them. I had a feeling for a second I knew what they were, and then when I opened them, it just totally blew me out of the fucking water, and you could not wipe the smile off my face. You still can't. So let's show them. Keeper of the 7 Keys, Part 1, by Halloween. And if that wasn't enough, Keeper of the 7 Keys, Part 2, by Halloween. Now, anybody who watched his huge haul, the Craigslist haul that he had a couple months ago, something like that, he showed a shitload of vinyl. I mean, a shitload. And there was stuff out of there that I picked out of there for, VCLT trade type of thing. And he actually showed both of these. And I'd sent him, a message, mentioned a few that I was looking at, and I mentioned these, and he's like, well, I'm gonna keep them, whatever. But he sent me the live EP, I Want Out. Yeah, kind of here, I know you wanted some Halloween, here's a surprise for you. And that was cool enough as it is, but I figured, you know what, he's gonna keep these. I know they're, hard to track down, and he sent them my way, and I mean, I could not fucking believe this. I mean, thank you so much, dude. Like, got the inserts, this nice RCA label. I mean, these fuckers are clean as shit, dude. I mean, I was fucking, like, going completely nuts. I love that RCA label, that's really cool. But, oh my fuck, this is so cool, and an amazing Christmas gift. Like, and I know I've got some really cool shit coming, but, like, from my family for Christmas, but my extended VC family, like, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. My fucking metal collection is thanking you. Oh, so excited. So those will definitely be getting lots of spin action here soon. Once I have some free time, you know, between working a bunch and then, you know, the holidays, it's gonna be pretty hard to find a good amount of time to spin stuff, but those will definitely be getting spun. It's one of those times where you're really hoping for a really bad snow, so like you don't have to like go anywhere, but you just make sure the cupboards are full of food, you got plenty to drink, in my case plenty of cigarettes, tons and tons of music. As long as the power never goes out, I am set. So thank you again, Eli, you are the man. Alright, on to just two finds here, both reissues, and both I am extremely excited to have in my collection. Both, I mean, if I had original pressings, those would be the grails, but since these are reissues, they stand in their place, they take grail status. So, let's get right into them. First one up. This needs no introduction. Marquee Moon by Television. Now, for anybody who is not familiar with this album, you have no excuse. This album is beyond amazing. From 1977, I want to make sure I got the year right. This album, essential to anybody who is a rock fan, anybody who's into the late 70s New York, I really, you know, I don't want to say straight up they're, you know, punk, because they're not. Like, they influenced a lot more in terms of post-punk, and I think they were really more that, because it wasn't all about just really short songs and being really just, you know, Ramones, Clash-oriented, you know. This is a lot more thinking and more avant-garde, so to speak. You know, you can see a lot more of their influence coming from like a Velvet Underground, you know, like the way I look at them is the same way I look at Talking Heads, you know, alternative, you know, different. They weren't punk, and they weren't just a straight ahead rock band, you know, they were doing different stuff. That's the one thing that made the New York scene so much better than the British scene. The British, it all just kind of, you know, it all centered around one sort of focal point, in my opinion. I mean, I wasn't there, so, and I don't know every single band, but in general speaking terms, the British scene, you know, it all kind of folds together, you know, Clash, Sex Pistols, The Damned, you know, etc. You know, the list goes on. Great bands, and I love the British scene for that. The New York scene I love for a different reason, because you had so many different bands. I mean, it had a central point of most of these bands came from the CBGB, you know, area. But you went from the Ramones to Patti Smith to Television, Talking Heads, Blondie, the list goes on. And this album is a great reflection of what was going on at that time. And amazing music. I mean, this whole album, top to bottom, back to front, is essential. So like I said, if you're into more of the post-punk stuff and new wave and everything else, this is the album for you. Now, onto this reissue. Rhino reissue on 180 gram vinyl. Beautiful quality. I mean, the job that was done with this was very good care taken into this. You know, the insert, the vinyl, the labels, the cover art, everything just meticulously done perfectly. I could not believe it. You know, and I've never seen an original pressing. I've never come across anything related to this album whatsoever in all the years I've been digging. And every time I went to look for it, it's just been way too much money, and I'm like, I love this album, but not enough to spend that much. And I didn't even know this was coming out. I happened to come across it on the internet one night, found this, pre-ordered it on eBay through a seller, and got it, I think, like a day or two after it was released, so they did really get it to me really quickly. And I could not believe the quality. I read some reviews from other people that were saying how it compared to the original pressing and then the 4 Men with Beards pressing, which I have to say I'm really staying away from anything that 4 Men with Beards has done just because of the reviews I've read on Marquee Moon. Personally, I don't think it sounds like, I don't think their edition of it was any good. You've got the original, which sounds great on its own already. I mean, fucking sterling. Come on, how can you deny that? And then this reissue, right up there with it. I mean, neck and neck. They are both just solid releases. And I mean, if you're not an audiophile and you just want to have it, by all means, go ahead and get whichever pressing you like. But if you're looking for something that's crisp, just very clear, great, on every level, definitely check this out. Well worth it. And I don't know how limited it was. I had read it only in one place, but I've looked all over the internet to try and find if I was, incorrect or correct on this. I think it was a limited run of only a few thousand, but, it's not numbered or anything, so who knows if it'll, be larger than a few thousand that are made. Not for sure. I'm sure we'll find out later. So, Marquee Moon by Television. Get yourself a copy. Now, on to this last set here. Now, anybody who uses the VC Facebook page, you are pretty familiar with the Melancholy Amazon Canada whole thing. I'll kind of explain for anybody who didn't know. So I'm on the Facebook page one night, and I see a post that says, get on the Canadian Amazon site. They have the Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness box set that was coming up, 4LP vinyl. They had it going for, I think it was somewhere like $26, $28, something like that. Had it mismarked. I mean, we're talking, that's $50 off from where it was, where it's supposed to be, right? I think we were like around the $70, $80 range for it here in the United States. So immediately I jump on it, I pre-order it, boom. Shipped and everything, it was going to cost me $38, I think. Somewhere thereabouts. So, day or two later, I go to check back on it on the Amazon site, and it's back up to its normal price. Like, they corrected it. Slowly they started canceling out orders, so whoever, pre-ordered it, the order got canceled. Well, either they felt bad or, made a mistake or something and didn't mean to cancel the orders, or somebody in the VC probably bitched. I'm sure it's one of us. And they gave us the opportunity to rebuy the album again with a discount and get it at the price that we originally ordered it at. So they kept their honor, they honored their price and their mistake. And so I was able to get my copy. And after being dicked around for a little bit on whether we were going to get it before Christmas or after, was the real toss-up. But lucky enough, I got mine on the same day as I got my Marquee Moon, I think. Did I? I want to say I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know. I got these a few weeks ago. Hard for me to remember. But I'm just going to go ahead and show this. Now, the lucky thing for me, since Amazon sucks on their packaging, I was afraid I was going to have an issue with a damaged album set. Thank God I did not. No fucked up corners, no nothing, no. Let's just kind of give my sort of general review of this now. First things first on the packaging. Beautiful packaging. This outer insert type of thing, which has a little perforated tab there that you can put in there. It doesn't actually fit inside the box itself, or else I would keep it inside of there. Now I don't want to fold it all up or anything. Nice little track listing on the back there. I'll show the back cover art, which was obviously the back art for the CD release. Now, this album, I mean, I was 9 years old when this album came out, and I know what you're thinking. You were listening to this at 9? Bet your sweet ass I was. I think this was the first album ever that I actually anticipated its release. Like, there were a lot of albums that I was very, very obsessed with at a young age, but they were older. They weren't... Some were kind of current, like I was really into the Black Album, and Nevermind by Nirvana, stuff like that. But that was a year, 2 years, 3 years after they had came out. So I'd kind of missed the boat, you know, on those. But there were these other bands that, you know, I was really getting into and stuff like that, and had albums coming out. Mainly the one that I can remember being intensely into was Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. Being 9 years old, I definitely could not afford to spend 25 to 30 bucks on the CDs. Like, I was completely screwed there, and I didn't have parents that made a lot of money to just say, hey, yeah, I'll buy it for you. Didn't work that way. Probably could have weaseled my way into getting it from somebody else, but I don't think I was that smart. I was, but I wasn't. Either way, I did have friends, though, that had it, and would make me, you know, we all remember the days of cassettes. Hell, there's still days of cassettes. I buy cassettes today. It made me cassette copies of the album, so I had those, kind of tied me over until I could afford to buy it, which I actually didn't get myself a hard copy of it until, I think, January of '97, thanks to one of my uncles who got me a gift card for Musicland, if anybody remembers Musicland at all. Yeah. But to, you know, also tied me over, I could afford to buy, like, the singles. If I would have been smart, I could have saved up my allowance for about a month and a half and bought it, but I was just, there was so much other stuff you want to buy. I mean, even then I was collecting shit. So, there was the great singles that they put out off of this. Now, anybody who's familiar with the Aeroplane Flies High box set, that was just the collection of the CD singles from this album. I had the cassette versions, so I was missing a few tunes here or there, but I had 1979 and Zero, and I played those to death. Loved this album. I worshipped everything about this band at this point. I mean, I painted my, like, toy plastic guitars that I had, this is really embarrassing, to, you know, to look like Billy Corgan's. I mean, I had a little toy drum set. This is being like 10 years old, and I learned how to play some of the Smashing Pumpkins tunes on this thing. I mean, I was enveloped in this album. Didn't really understand too much on the lyric side of things or really dig into that. I was just more on the musical side and just really being into these guys as people and as musicians. As I got older, it really sunk into me on how influential it was and what it meant and how it really, you know, like, affected things at the time and how extremely good this album really is. I mean, I didn't really take it for granted, but looking back at it, a double album coming out in the mid-90s of this caliber, I mean, rare. I mean, there were so many great things about the 90s musically, but this kind of is like the kind of the peak, if you will, of what happened with, like, alternative and, you know, and, like, good rock music in the 90s. As you go over that, you had the second wave of alternative and grunge and all that shit, and then everything just sort of started to splinter out, and there were more things going on between all your boy bands, girl bands, if you will, you know, your Spice Girls and shit like that of the world. Then new metal, you know, with Korn, and then eventually Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, you know, really became more mainstream. You know, the resurgence, the sort of mainstreaming of punk that happened, you know, beginning in the early to mid 90s, you know, and obviously kind of coming to a peak with Green Day, and then obviously later on with Blink-182, shit like that. So there's so many things that were happening in the 90s, but I think Melancholy was the meeting point where everybody could meet right there and say, yes, this was fucking great. I know that's, if I remember, a lot of us who were into them at the time, which, I mean, we were all 9, 10, 11 years old. Some of these people had, you know, older siblings and stuff like that. I didn't. I was the oldest. So I was the one kind of leading the pack in my family, but nobody followed me except for myself. Eventually my dad caught on, but I was the big Pumpkins guy. So that's where everybody could sort of meet, and there was something about this album that could meet whatever any person was into. You know, I mean, if you're into something really heavy, if you're into the lighter stuff, ballads, the musicianship on this is fucking amazing. But, you know, regardless, enough about the album, let's talk about this reissue. So, first things first, you had this lovely booklet which I'll just kind of flip to a page. I really don't want to flip around too much when I'm trying to hold this out. Basically mimicking the inner booklet that came with the original CD. This one's really cool. Obviously mimicking the other booklet and all the lyrics and whatnot. Very, very well done. Very good. Very, very good. Now, I'm not going to pull out all of the albums. I think I'll just pull out one of them to kind of show as a general example. Now, there was a lot of people who have bitched, I being one of them, about the quality of this. Now, I don't have an original to compare this to, but I do have the CD. And I will give them the credit. Here, I'll kind of show it. Some nice artwork on these. Now, these are actually legitimate like covers and stuff like that are inside. Nice sort of semi-thicker inner sleeves. And they also, this one was very, very cool. It all came with, you know, these poly-lined inner sleeves as well. Nice labels as well. 180 gram vinyl. Now, getting back to the sort of bitching about the sound. A lot of people saying, you know, certain spots that are distorted and, you know, obviously way over compressed, or, you know, there's clipping issues and stuff like that, which, if anybody really goes back and listens to the CD, I know I went back and listened to it, there was a lot of stuff that I forgot that I was disappointed with when I first heard the CD, and, you know, stuff was really, like, sort of brash and stuff like that. So you can't really bitch, you know? Like, it sounds almost like the CD, and if you put it on a good system, you know, I highly recommend anybody who has a really good setup with, like, maybe an EQ, you know, really good speakers, you know, receiver, etc. You know, give this one a listen and really, you know, kind of dissect it. I know I have with my other setup that has an EQ on it, and it was great, you know. It just depends on what you're listening to it on, and, you know, what kind of ears you have. If you are really, really particular about your, you know, listening and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend, you know, running out and picking this up, especially if you're, you know, just, if you don't have the money and you don't want to go nuts, you know, on one piece of vinyl type of thing, then don't get it. I'll put the speckle back in when I'm done. For me, $38, I could not pass this up. And it's a great addition to my collection, and it has actually gotten more spinning action than I thought. So, made me fall in love with this, and I gotta go pull my Zero t-shirt out from 1995. It fits me now. Why in the hell did I buy a large as a 9-year-old? You tell me. Anyway, that's it for the vinyl. I've got another editions video to shoot, so I'll get onto that. Everybody take care and have a Merry Christmas. See you guys soon. Peace.